Hi everybody, welcome back to Hayes Review. Today I'm joined here with Jake, my brother. So we will be going through a tier list of our favorite characters from the new Spiderverse movie, Across the Spiderverse. So our first character is Hobie. So where do you think we should put him? I like him a lot. I think he's a really funny character. I would say S.
S.
Yeah. Yes, so we said Hobie is S because he's like one of the best characters of the entire movie and is like the chillest dude ever. And yeah, so he's S. On to the next one.
Does he fit his hair inside his mask? Who knows?
Yeah, his hair is actually like huge and yeah, and he looks cooler under the mask, which is like crazy. Then we have, his name is Paviter. I don't know how to pronounce it. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So what do we think about him?
He wasn't really in the movie much, but
yeah,
like a B.
I would say B because he like, you know, had a few funny moments and, you know, was like a good character. But yeah, he didn't make that much of an impact because he wasn't that big of a character. So he's B. Okay. And now we have Miguel. So Miguel, what do you think about Miguel?
He's good.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say S, but he's up there, you know?
He's very edgy.
He's very edgy. He's a vampire, and I love vampires, but we get to see his fangs once in the whole thing, in the whole movie. But I wish I would have seen him, you know, suck someone off, you know?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we did not get to see that. So where do you think? I'll say A. Okay. And now we have Peter, who made a reappearance from the first movie, and we love Peter. He's one of the best characters. And in this movie, we have a surprise. What's the surprise, Jake?
He has a baby.
He has a child. He's with child. So he explains later in the movie to Miles that Miles is basically the reason why he had this kid, which I thought was really cute. So where do we think he belongs?
Well, he wasn't in the movie much either.
He wasn't.
Very
yeah.
minor role.
Yeah. So
Let's say A.
I'd say A too. Because, like, it was nice to see him again, but yeah, he didn't really do much. But he's just an all-around good guy, so.
Maybe in the next movie he'll have a major role.
Yeah. Okay. And now we have Gwen. So Gwen had a much bigger role this movie. She was almost the main character. Because the first, I would say, the first 20 minutes of the movie was all about Gwen and her story and being in the band and all that. So where do you think she goes?
S.
S, yes, I agree. Because she's just like, she's so good, so edgy. And then at the end of the movie, there's this big sequence. It reminded me of the Avengers a little bit with the group that like came to help. But again, it was ended on to be continued. So we don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, that just shows you how true of a friend she is. Okay, on to the next. We have good old Miles. So, what do we think about Miles?
What do you think?
I'm thinking S because he's just a savage and he's a menace. Like he literally broke out of that spider headquarters all by himself against like, what was it, hundreds of different Spider-Men?
Yeah.
And then he like tricked everyone into, you know, helping him escape. So, I don't know. What do you think? I think S.
Yeah.
So let's put him there. Okay, S for Miles. And now we have Margot. Okay, so now we have Margot. She's a new character that we met in, what would you call it? Like Spider Headquarters or something?
Yeah. So
yeah, she's a new character. She's like a hologram.
She's like in VR at home.
Yeah, she's in a VR headset at home, but she can like do stuff in that world at the same time. It's super weird, but I really liked her. I don't think she's A or S, but I think she's, you know, at least B, because she helped Miles like escape and stuff. And she's a cool character.
Say C, but
really?
B's fine.
C for her? I thought she did good. Like she didn't like.
She didn't do anything like crazy though.
Yeah, you might be right. I'll do C then, because she's not, like, that big of a character either. Okay. And now we have a guest star with Donald Glover. So I guess, so basically the concept of this movie is that there's like hundreds of different universes where all of these different variations of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, the Prowler, you know, all those, I don't know, Uncle Ben, Uncle whatever, George Stacy, Gwen Stacy,
captain.
and then, yeah, so basically in every universe, the dad or uncle or whoever it is that becomes police captain dies. So he's one of the Prowlers from one of the different universes. And I just thought it was cute that he had a little cameo in there. So I would say like C, because like he's not really a character at all, but I just enjoyed seeing him in there.
Yeah.
So we'll put him at C with good old Margot here. Okay. And then we have Uncle Aaron. So Uncle Aaron, as we know, was the Prowler in the first movie, and he died. But in this movie, Miles ends up going to the universe where his spider was from, right? Mm-hmm. The spider that bit him was from a different universe, and that started him, you know, becoming Spider-Man. So he gets sent to this other parallel universe where his uncle is still alive, but his dad is dead. And so we see a little into Uncle Aaron's life. So yeah, it was nice to see him again, but it was just like under weird circumstances. But where do you think? I would say C.
She's in it for a couple minutes. Like.
Yeah. C. Okay. And then we have George Stacy, which is Gwen's dad. Mm-hmm. So he had kind of a bigger role in this movie. Like, we didn't meet him in the first one at all. Yeah, so he's Gwen's dad, and he is the police captain. Or no, he was gonna be. Or he is.
Then he quit.
And then he quit. And then it shows you at the beginning that he was gonna arrest his daughter because he finds out that she's Spider-Woman. And it's this really huge emotional, you know, catastrophe because, like, he was gonna arrest his own daughter for being Spider-Woman, and then she ends up escaping with the Spider Universe helper people. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, where do we think he should be?
B or A?
Well, really? Okay. I'm gonna say B because he kind of had a rocky start with Gwen, I would say. But then he kind of redeems himself after.
Yeah. And all their scenes together had a lot of colors. And
oh, I loved, yes, the scenes with Gwen and her dad were just super, super pretty. And, like, it showed, like, every emotion they went through, it, like, showed on the back of the walls how they were feeling and stuff.
Next character is Jeff. It's Miles' dad. He had a pretty big role in this movie.
Yes, yeah, very, very big.
What would you say?
I would say A, because the interaction with him and Spider-Man and then him and Miles, which they're the same person, but, you know, it's like he doesn't know. Yeah. I really like him in this movie. I would say A.
I agree.
Okay, yeah. And it's also like, you know, he's so what is it? He's so personable. And you just have to like him as a dad, and he's just, like, super great and
very funny.
Very funny guy. He has very good comedic timing, for sure.
Okay, now we have Rio, which is Miles' mom. Mm-hmm. Also had a pretty big role.
Yeah.
The schooling and whatnot.
I would say B.
B?
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't do, like, she's not in there as much as his dad, but it doesn't mean she's not a good character. It's just, like, she was kind of weird with Gwen, too. She was like, don't take it from me.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, B. But I was kind of predicting that she's going to die in the next movie because she kept having these huge monologues. And you know when someone has a monologue, they usually die directly after. So, yeah.
Okay. The last spider person that we have is Jessica.
Yeah, she's the pregnant Spider-Woman. Mm-hmm. I liked her.
Inducts Gwen into the Spider Society, whatever it's called.
I mean, I would say she's an average character. Like, you don't know if she's good or bad.
Yeah.
She's, like, neutral. So
B.
B,
probably.
yeah,
She
B.
doesn't do much.
She doesn't do much, but she's not like a bad character. She's not a good character. She's just there because helps Gwen get into the, club. And then at the end, Miguel kicks her out and she doesn't really do much to stop him. But it's also like Gwen kind of made the mess herself. So it's like, she's just neutral. She's a neutral character.
The last character we have is Spot. He was like the antagonist villain.
Yeah, so this is him at the beginning. He becomes a lot more menacing as time goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so...
He's very goofy.
He's very goofy. Yes, he's very, very goofy. And I like him a lot. But it's just like...
Is he like Syndrome?
I don't know if he's S.
Like
yeah,
Syndrome?
yeah, a little bit.
He's just syndrome. He's like silly, like he...
Yeah, he's a little silly guy.
fumbles a
So yeah, all of these black holes in him, they are like literal black holes. Like you can like put your hand in him, So what would you think?
I liked him a lot. I would put him in S.
I would put him in S too because he...
So cool.
And also you understand his backstory a lot more too because he explains that Miles... I mean, it wasn't Miles' fault. Again, Miles is like literally blameless in this entire movie, but he always seems like he's the one to blame for everyone else. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
His art style at the end of the movie, he's all like hand-drawn.
Oh gosh, I love it so much. Yeah, the animation was insane in this movie. I really, really liked it. But yeah, so Spot is S because he's just a really good villain in this, and you have sympathy for him. Usually, you don't really sympathize with the villains. They don't really have a good reason. They just want to take over the world or whatever. But, I mean... You kind of understand where he's coming from. That wraps up our tier list for Across the Spider-Verse. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Right.